Okay, so I had a friend and trader ask me a question about fear, and what he's struggling with is he's um, he's in trades. Um, the trades work well. He gets up to like 2 Rs, and his question was, okay, I see something telling me I should get out of this trade and take profit, but a lot of people tell me, well, that's just fear. Just keep holding and just keep holding and keep holding. And I want to kind of talk about where that's appropriate and what people kind of mean when they say that versus when it's not appropriate. And like, dude, if you're up, like if you're risking $500 on the trade and you're already up $1,000, like take the money, dude. Like, why hold for $1 million? Like, if you need the money, take the money. Now, here's a situation um, where I think it's more applicable to talk about fear getting you out of a trade that could still work. So this is a good example. So another friend and trader took this trade. He took it short using a strategy, a momentum strategy, where you get in under the break below the first bull candle that closes below the 10 EMA. So he set the trade up like this. And yeah, I think his target was like down here somewhere. I wouldn't have set the trade up exactly like this, but I want to talk about that fear and how we kind of work through it. So he got triggered in here on this candle at 9:45, and the trade started to work. It broke down this layer of support, kind of. It was working on this little zone. And as you can see, we got a bounce down around there. So as price was coming up, he trailed his stop to like here first. Old stop up here. Stop. Okay. So he trailed his stop to here, and we're in the Slack, and he's like, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't want to lose on this trade. The trade's not working. I'm not sure. So I said, okay, dude, protect your stop, put it above a pivot, and give the trade a chance to work. So if you're afraid and you are like, oh, I don't want to lose, then when this thing comes back up and it starts to get into a losing trade now, you start losing money. You're like, oh my God, the trade's not going to work. Let me just get out now so that I don't lose a full R or whatever it is. That is when you're letting fear talk you out of a trade that could still work, because we have this pivot here. This is expected. This is a natural move that this thing would come up and retest this pivot that just failed and go on to work. This trade probably goes on to work. It might come down here, retest again. But the fact is, he was afraid. I know he was freaking out right here. Look at all this bull volume coming in. He wanted to get out of the trade, but there's nothing telling him that he should get out of the trade. Everything is still operating within normal expected price action. It broke a level support. It's retesting a pivot, and it can still work. That there's no reason to be afraid. His stop is still protected by this pivot. Now, once we get this pivot in, look what happens. We can trail our stop here. And now the most that we can lose on this trade, is probably like 0.2 or something like that. So the most we can lose on this trade now, it's 0.15 Rs. Dude, that's nothing. It's like $15 with a $100 R. And even before, losing $33 with a $100 R. And you're missing out on potential. Like, you're already at $33. You're already at 0.35. So, and keep in mind, once you have the ability to trail your stop to a pivot like this, and your risk is now 0.33 R, but your potential, if the trade works, is still an R at least. I mean, I wouldn't put my target there. I'd probably put it somewhere up here. But let's just assume that the 1 R target's still in play. Now, your risk reward goes through the roof, because now your risk is only 0.33 R, but nothing changes about where your target can be. So immediately now you have like a 3-to-1 RR just by being patient and looking at the chart. There's nothing that's now, if price starts to get up here above this pivot, okay, the trade's probably not going to be, it's probably not going to work. That's not fear. It's the chart is telling me that it's not going to work. So if we were to have gotten something like this, so say this thing just keeps roadhousing up here above this pivot, okay, it's probably not going to work, but I'm still not going to get out immediately because we're at this pivot. I'm going to wait for now a bounce to roll back down here, and I'm going to get out somewhere down here because I am listening to the chart. I am playing the chart structure. I'm not playing emotions. And when a pivot fails and it hits another pivot, I know that it probably needs to retest before it goes higher. So I'm not going to just freak out and panic sell right here. I'm going to now react according to what's happening now on the chart. I'm going to get out somewhere down here. But that didn't happen. And let's say, okay, the trade starts to work again, and then we get another pivot and it comes, and then it starts to not work. Okay, now we have this second pivot, and this looks like a double bottom to me. But even with a double bottom, when we get up to this next pivot, it's going to need to fail and retest this neckline. So I can still get out for like 0.25 Rs. So there's no reason to react out of emotion. Play the chart, believe in the structure, believe in price action, and react to what's happening on the chart from a technical perspective, not out of a fear and taking profits. So let me just show this trade. So taking profits, the trade he took today, I think, was something like this. So I think he took a trade like this. It was something bananas. It was like 3 Rs. It was a great trade. Let's just say it was like this. And he got triggered in like on this little high wave after this hammer. So he was saying, okay, what he was concerned about was people say, well, there's no reason to get out just because you see something you don't like. Like, have faith in the trade and hold it. And this, do you see how this is completely contrary to everything we just talked about? Like, dude, this trade's already at 2 Rs, at 1.58. It's already at 1.58 Rs. And you start to get these volume anomalies, like this little inverse hammer with this volume. Like, bro, that's telling me to get out of this trade. That's telling me there's going to be some kind of pullback. Now, can price pull back down here, start to do some of this, and then make new highs? Sure. But you already have the money right here. You already have it, so take it. And if you take it, and then you decide you want to get back in down here, then do that. But the fact of the matter is, you already have the money. It already made the move, so take it. Now let's see. So if he would have held this thing because he listens to people say, "Oh, don't be afraid, just hold it forever." Like, first of all, what more do you want than like 1.5 Rs in literally 15 minutes? That's $1,500 in 15 minutes. Like, what more do you want? First of all, and second of all, if you disregard these signals that are saying, okay, get out, we have all these upper wicks, we have this volume anomaly, this is what can happen. Okay, so there's your retest. So I might be able to get back in here, or I'll have to hold through that. Okay, and now look, now we're losing money. Yeah, that's a good hammer, and it could still go up and work. But even if it works, okay, we're right back where we were 20 minutes ago. And I could have just pocketed that money and got back in down here if I wanted to. And if it doesn't work, now I just gave away $1,500 and I risk losing $1,000. Okay, so it's gonna work. Boom. And that's what happens. Take the money when you have it, read the chart, interpret the chart, play the chart, be confident. Take your money when you have it.